Hey everyone, it's Tracy Kawa of American SPCC, and A Brighter Future Starts Here podcast series. Our guest today is Nicole Henderson, aka Unstoppable Nicole, and she's here to discuss creating unstoppable health and connections with our kids. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, how are you today, Tracy? Thank you
I'm
for having me.
I'm good. I'm really excited to have you on the podcast today. And just again, I know I mentioned it earlier before the show, but every time I see your photos, every time I see you with your daughter, it's always this high energy. Like I could feel the energy coming right through the video, and I get very excited. So today I'm extra excited to be interviewing you.
Oh, thank you. And I really appreciate it. So glad we connected.
Yeah, so glad we connected. My first question for you today is just the name itself. It's so delicious. Unstoppable Nicole. It's amazing. So I know that everybody has a different idea of what they think unstoppable is. What's your concept of unstoppable? Just define the word itself.
The word itself, unstoppable, for me, is just never giving up. There's so many trials and tribulations that happens in everyone's life, right? And some people look at it and say, oh, it's not unfair. And then at some time along the way, they just quit.
Yeah.
So with me, no matter how many times I got knocked down, I just did not give up. I just kept pressing forward. And so that's how unstoppable came to be about it, because it's like, okay, she won't be stopped. She will not just sit there and give up. She won't sit there and just play the victim or
Yeah.
take her little toys and go home. She is going to keep going for that finish line, running
Right.
that race.
It's like those little weighted figures that the kids used to play with that like you tip them over and they bounce right back up.
Right. That's right.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
right.
And that's where Unstoppable Nicole came from.
That's right. That's
So
all
I
I
understand.
know how to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's it. I understand that you are a nurse. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So I am a registered nurse. Yes. Labor and delivery is 17 plus years, right? I don't want to tell my age, right? but
Okay.
but definitely. And I love coaching those moms through their deliveries and
Yeah.
just being that support system, having gone through child labor myself and at times delivering babies because the doctor's in another room. Just
Wow.
the being there and seeing life being brought into the world. It's unexplainable.
I had the chills just from you talking about it. I think you take a natural born coach to a whole new meaning.
Yes.
Tell us
Yes.
about your newest book.
So my newest book is called Break Up to Build Up: Learning to Build Resilience from the Pieces. And this book was more of a how to help mothers, single mothers, right? Or even mothers that are in a role of having to be a single mom. So, like military moms, their spouse gets deployed, they're automatically a single mom, right? Or they move away and they bring their child, they're a single mom. And also some married moms, unfortunately, just because they're deemed the caretaker of the household, right? So you
Yeah.
have some households where they need to function as a single mom and they need those kind of skills too.
Right. So you offer resilience coaching. What other kind of coaching? How do you support moms?
So a few different ways.
Okay.
So especially with I have an 8-week program
Mhm.
that is online and hybrid depending on where you are. And but with COVID, everything, can be virtual. So we're very flexible. And that's one program where we coach women through the 8 weeks and they get live coaching. And it's just something about that. You'll be amazed how many women, single moms, don't have someone to turn to. They don't have a support system. And that's so important, especially in these times.
Absolutely. When they're making so many decisions on health for their child, more from medical to choices of food. Tell me what type of support you offer. I understand that you're a resilience coach, but what will somebody walk away from your program with? What will the moms walk away with?
They will walk away with transformational mindset and just
Mhm.
transformational change regardless. They will have a higher self-confidence.
Nice.
Their children will have a higher self-confidence. They will be able to multitask. They will be able to go between work-life balance. You don't understand, the world has started trying to keep on going, but still forgetting the fact that single moms are at a disadvantage because they don't have a lot of support in a lot of cases. And now the demands are like, yep, come on back to work. Or, oh, and then there, and some child care facilities are like, oh, we can't watch your child, or we're going to charge you this amount, right? So just helping them navigate through those resources to get affordable child care and other things.
That's great. I understand that you also teach moms how to make healthy choices. And as you know, this month is Childhood Obesity Awareness Month. So, how do you support moms in making healthy choices?
Well, there's a few ways. So, right. So let's first start talking about just the environment that they have their children in. When a mom gets frustrated, and we all get to that one point, some know how to cope with it and some moms don't. So I teach moms how to cope with it and
Mm.
not to bring it in the environment of the child. I show them how to take their own timeouts. I show them how what their children hear and see is very, very important, that they are not brought into a negative situation. No matter how tired, how exhausted, how frustrated the mom is. So
When
that's
you
number.
say take time out, can you just give us a little bit of an example on that? Just something that the viewer can relate to.
Yes, absolutely. So when I say take time out, it can be as little as putting the children downstairs and putting a movie on and going to take a bath.
Hmm. It's a little bit of self-care involved with
Just
that too.
self-care,
And
just
self-care
little
just for a
self-care
minute.
things, right?
Yeah.
You just let them watch that movie. It doesn't matter how late at night it is, but you go get and come back to center, because
Love that.
it gets overwhelming for single moms. It just gets so overwhelming. So that's definitely one way. The other way to be healthy is to get up and do things with your children, and they don't have to
Mhm.
cost, right? So you get out and you go, just right outside where you live, find an empty parking lot or an empty driveway, depending on where they live, and do short relay races, right? If you have multiple children, and and then, or take the bubbles and see who can go from one end to the other, blowing the bubbles. I mean, just keeping them active, and they're just having so much fun, and they're even enjoying their time with you. And those are the memories
Yeah. Those
that
are the
they
bonding
remember.
moments. The bonding moments.
Yes.
Love that. I remember playing football on the grass, just throwing the football back and forth to my son as he was growing up.
Right. Yes. I remember one time I took my son's whole basketball team home with me. So I got 10 year olds, and
Wow.
I just like I cooked, I did some things, I let them play hide and go seek all through the house, and then they could only stay like right around the house and play hide and go seek. I mean, they had a good time. They had a sleepover and everything, and I would wrestling with them and arm wrestling, and they like, your mom is strong. So
Your
just
mom's the
things
coolest.
like that. Yes. And they just remember that they didn't want to go home. I had to call their parents like, hey, hey,
Like, come
hi.
get your food. That's precious. That's fun. Yeah. So I also understand that you, and congratulations are in order for this, you just received approval on your 501c3.
Yes, I did. Oh my goodness. You have no idea the way everything was going on and the IRS being backed up. I
Yeah.
was like calling them like almost every week, like, and they're like, no, no. And I'm like, I have to get this approval because I can help so many more moms, right? So I did get the approval for Break Up to Build Up Incorporated. That's the name of the nonprofit. And
Break Up to Build Up.
yes,
Org, if anybody
yes.
wants to check it out. Tell us what you do and how you support healthy choices through your organization.
Absolutely. So, my organization, we are here to help women with educational programs, mentoring programs, coaching programs, a stipend for scholarship for groceries, utilities, just whatever they need. We're to fill in that gap. And by that, we have sponsors that will sponsor each woman. And that's how we're just we just want to be able to help. And just being a single mom of 3 children myself, I understand that gap, and I understand it from being in college all the way into being a nurse, right? And
Right.
at times it gets easier, and then other times it doesn't. So
Sure.
there's times where you don't qualify for certain things. Like the more
Mhm.
you want to better yourself, the more things you don't qualify for, but you need those things, right? Because we want our children to eat healthy. If they
Right.
had a choice to pick between a donut and an apple, you know, we don't want that donut to cost less and the bag of organic apples to cost more, right? So just
Yeah.
little things like that, they
Did your volume just go out?
so with healthy, we help them make healthier food choices because they have the money and the means to do it.
Got it. So I think that I
Oh, I
think your
can't hear you.
volume just,
I can't hear you, Tracy.
is it my volume that went out? Testing, testing.
No, I still can't hear you. Your mic is muted.
Can you hear me now? Oh, lovely. We may have to
Tracy,
go
your
out.
mic is muted. Your mic is
It's
muted. Your mic is muted. No,
it's not. Wait, I'm going to remove myself and then come back in. Can you hear me now? Lovely.
I can hear you.
Oh, good, good, good. I'm like, lovely, right in the middle of the podcast episode. So tell us what the organization does specifically to help moms make healthy choices with their families. Like how do you help moms, and especially now that it's, National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month? Like, what does the organization do specifically?
So we will hold workshops, and we will actually go to the places to do a workshop, or we'll do virtual workshops, and we'll make the moms aware, and then we'll give them little guides, we'll give them things that they can do with their children. And it's great because some of the moms, they love to cook, and some of the little ones, like my daughter, she loves to help me cook, right? And whenever we're like, yeah, this is she's like, yes, mommy, because we need to eat healthy because we want to live a long time. So just giving
Beautiful.
them positive little affirmations of why they're doing stuff. When I grew up, it was more like, you do what I say because I told you to, right? So just letting them in this generation understand why everything is so important.
Yeah. And just to reiterate, because I think that's when my microphone, or one of the microphones went out. Can you be very specific and tell us like how you advise the moms on making healthy choices? Because I think that's something that we all need to hear. Even those moms who do make good choices insofar as foods go, sometimes it may be just easier, or in or for the sake of time, we might grab something that is less healthy than others. So how do you advise moms to make those healthy choices? What is the advice you give pertaining to the food and the choices that they make on a daily basis?
Well, I definitely have them meal prep. That's one thing because it's so easy to be tired and just grab whatever. So
Right.
I definitely have them meal prep. That's one. Number two, the grocery shopping. I have them have their children make a list with them of things because these little ones are picky eaters, right?
Yes.
So so
Yeah,
I let the children help them with the list, right?
it's
And then
great.
they have to, and then the children also have to tell the mom if this is a healthy choice or not once they pick it. Because some some will try to sneak some stuff in there, and you're like, now is that a healthy choice? And it's like, no, and everything in moderation, right? We're not saying they can never have a bag of chips. We're not ever saying
Yeah.
that they can't have that, but just teaching them also moderation.
Yeah.
Taking a baggie and putting some chips in the small little baggie and saying, okay, so this is your portion, because a lot of children don't have portion control. Because I know when I grew up, I didn't have portion control, and that was something that I learned when I got older.
Yeah, I love it. Meal prep, portion control. These are all great strategies, healthy choices, all great strategies to help our kids begin to understand. And even like you just said, reverberating it back to them, asking them, is this a healthy choice? Because that also gives them a greater sense of responsibility that we're we're affording them the opportunity to make the choice on, is this a healthy choice or not, and they know the difference, and we're letting them know that we know they know the difference,
Yeah.
right? It's like my
Yeah.
son who will slip in some Jolly Ranchers into the shopping cart, and I'm like, now is this a healthy choice?
Right.
Right.
And then he's probably like, oh, mom.
Right. Like, oh, she saw that.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And it's just important that the younger you start with them, the easier it is. So
Yeah.
like I have um an adult child at 20, I have a 15-year-old, and then I have a 5-year-old. So to tell that 5-year-old stuff, she's just like, okay, so everything's like normal to her, right? But
Right.
what I knew 15 years ago when I was raising the other two, the food choices have gotten much better. I wasn't I
Yeah.
wasn't eating salmon on a regular 15 years ago, right? And now that I
Right.
know the benefits of it, it's like, oh, we're gonna have this, and making it different ways. That's another thing. Children sometimes get bored with the flavor, so you
Mm,
want to make different marinades. So it's the same piece of protein, but now it's got a little flavor.
got it. Like my son who said to me, Mom, you cook everything bland. I'm like, oh, okay. He's beginning to realize about different spices. Got it. So I'm like, come in the kitchen, experiment, show me, tell me what you like. Smell this seasoning, smell that seasoning.
Right.
Yeah, I try to make it fun.
And that's the key to it. And you'll see that they'll even start helping out a little bit more. And that's another thing that helps single moms is like, I don't have to come home and do everything, right? So by just them participating in the cooking, it doesn't seem like a chore because now you're getting to spend that time, because a lot of time constraints are also put on a single mom. Some single moms work 2 jobs, and just having that time and not necessarily it be doing homework. See, that's, no child is like, oh, I remember my mom doing homework with me. Like, they're appreciative, but they'll more respond to making those memories in the kitchen, or
Yeah.
making those memories just being outside for a good 20 minutes riding their bike and you chasing them. Or
Right. Because it's that free time and it's that creative process of being in the kitchen,
yes.
attaching those great memories to this
Yeah.
fun creativity. I love it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about your book.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Tell us a little bit more about your book.
So the second book, the thing that I love about it has affirmations in it, right? So there's a problem presented in the chapter, and then there's key steps that you can do right then and there. So if you never met me, there are key steps you can do right then and there. And then it has affirmations, and the affirmations come from the Bible. So now at this point, you don't have to worry about what a person says about you when you know what your creator says about you.
Isn't that wonderful?
And you can also journal along the way. So if you never get to come to my program, this is a great start. And I wrote this book this way because this is something I wish I had.
Yeah.
This is something that I wish I had guidance on. And I know I wouldn't have made a few of the choices that I make because I take accountability. I take responsibility because I can say, you know, back before I used to say when I'm in the toxic relationships, right? Like, oh, I love too hard and this and that. No, it wasn't that. It was not what I was supposed to be in. And I didn't leave fast enough. So things happened, right? So I learned from those experiences. And if I can help somebody else take a shortcut and avoid those things, that's what I would love to do, especially because when you have children involved, they learn that. So you have to keep their environment positive. You have to keep their environment resilient.
And that goes right back to you being a resiliency coach. But tell us, what's the name of your first book?
So my first book, take it back. Your strength, your finances. I'm sorry, your strength, your mindset, your finances.
And then the name of your second book?
Break Up to Build Up.
Break Up to Build Up.
Learning to build resilience from the pieces.
I love it. So if somebody wants to find you, let's flash a couple of these locations where they can find you. You can go to unstoppablenicole.com. And I love that so much. Unstoppable Nicole, teaching women how to become unstoppable.
That's right.
Right? Take a licking and keep on ticking.
Yes.
And then on Facebook, you can find her under Perseverance Experts. And again, Nicole is a resiliency coach. Here on Instagram, Unstoppable Nicole. Follow her. And on YouTube, Unstoppable Nicole.
Yes.
And finally, a huge congratulations goes out to you on your 501c3 designation, breakuptobuildup.org. I love what you're doing with guiding moms, giving them the support that they need during these times, because I think you're 100% right. Even moms who have significant others, who are in relationships, quite often act as single moms. And, you know, just by the nature of the hectic workplaces and the demand, and one person, and it may even be a dad who's a single dad, but one person in the family who might be working crazy hours or traveling all the time, or just maybe at home, but having the demands that their job or their own business or whatever it is place on that individual. Mm-hmm. So I love that you offer them the support that you do. Do you have any words of wisdom? You know, not that the rest haven't been words of wisdom. You've definitely given us so many gems. Can you hear?
Hold on, I'm coming.
So again, I'm going to, while you're fixing the volume, www.unstoppablenicole.com. If you want to hear more about Nicole, definitely visit her website. It sounds like she's doing great things in her community. And by the way, if you know of anyone doing great things in your community, then please visit us at American SPCC to let us know, because we want to interview them. We want to hear about people in your community, just like Nicole, who are doing amazing things. And we're back.
Yes.
Tell us some last words of wisdom, because you are just such an inspiration.
Thank you. So, what I would say, our children are so important, right? They didn't ask to be here. So, now that they are here, let's give them everything that we have. Let's give them a foundation. Let's teach them to be resilient, right? So, when you're not around, they can make better choices. When you're not around, they know if plan A doesn't work out. My daughter tell you all the time, the 5-year-old, she like, then you go to plan B. And if plan B doesn't work out, then you go to plan C. She was like, but no matter what, you just don't give up. And like, when I look at her, I'm like,
Absolutely.
she just learned that going on in a way.
Beautiful.
And I just want single moms to live your dream, right? And you need help sometimes, right? Because even I have a coach. So
Even coaches have coaches.
that's right. And I always tell my students, because I also can certify people to become life coaches or spiritual life coaches. I always tell them, never trust a coach that doesn't have a coach. All
There
right?
you go. There
Because
you
no
go.
one knows it all. You can glean from anyone. And
Yep.
certain people just have learning styles. So I'm just thankful that I'm able to relate to so many women, because I come from the hard spots in New York City, right?
Yeah.
From the projects. Hey Jason. And 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 then now, to owning my own home and having a career, right? So I got it, and then owning my own businesses. So just going from both spectrums, right?
Yeah.
And never forgetting who I am, but knowing how to help women in so many different genres. It's just amazing.
I love all these comments coming through. Brian is saying such a great woman. Jason is saying the unstoppable. Mirror Imaging is saying absolutely. You're just such an inspiration to all of us, Nicole. And I would be remiss if I left out mentioning your mini me, because your daughter is so cute. You can see that she is just watching every move that you make, and you are inspiring her to just grow up to be so empowered,
Oh,
to have her voice, to stand and look at that
there
princess.
she
And you
is.
see the princess, and there she is, the princess.
Yes. And
You're
I
doing
I
a great job. You're a great
thank
mom, and
you.
it's really wonderful watching her grow up on social media and seeing the wonderful empowered young lady that she's evolving into. Beautiful.
Yes, empowerment is so important for the children, for the mothers, because once we own our power and we
Yeah.
take it back, and we're able to give from a cup that is full. No one can give from a cup that is empty. So moms have to remember themselves. They can't feel guilty. And at times you have to do what you have to do. So if they're
Yeah.
out there and they have to work the 2 jobs, or if they have to work that 1 job but work overtime, you have to do what you have to do, but just keep your mind going forward to say, now what is it that I can do that I'm passionate about, and bring the income in, and spend time with my children.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I love everything that you're doing. Again, to our audience members, as you're listening, if you'd like to get in touch with Unstoppable Nicole, just reach out to her on www.unstoppablenicole.com, and you can find her across all social media. Nicole, we want to continue to hear what you're doing as your businesses and as your 501c3 evolves. We want to hear how you're helping people in your community, how you're, modeling for single moms to follow in your footsteps, just as you pivoted, you said that as a younger mom of an older child, you made less healthy food choices, but as you learned, you changed. As you learned, you grew. And now you're teaching others, you're teaching your children. I take my hat off to you, and you are truly, truly an inspiration. And we really appreciate having you on the show. And we have another comment. You're awesome. Thank you. That's so exciting. All these comments, and Jason is saying blessing. She's
That's
a
my
blessing.
daughter. Blessing is a blessing.
Oh, is that her name? Is that
Yes,
her name?
because she will get online and she will pray for somebody really quick.
Oh, that's beautiful. So again, thank you so much. I can't wait for follow-up interviews with you,
Yes,
Nicole. And remember, everyone, be unstoppable.
that's right. Yes, be unstoppable. We all have special gifts to give. So do your part. And that's what I do. I just do my part. I don't try to stay in someone else's lane. I just stay in my lane and I use my gifts.
And many gifts you have that you are imparting on others. So thank you for
Thank
being
you.
a blessing to others and for sharing the time with us today.
Yes.
So if
Thank
you
you
can
for
just hang
having
on.
me, Tracy.
Oh my God, you
I
are a
really
pleasure. Thank you.
appreciate this. And thank you for what you do. People
Oh,
don't understand sometimes you have to have a heart for children. And just knowing that you have that heart, that's just remarkable. So I want to say thank you for doing what you do. It's so effortlessly and just graceful. So I really appreciate this time that we've had together.
you're going to make me cry. Thank you so much. That was so nice. I appreciate it. Thank you. So hang on one second. I'm just going to do my quick little outro. So if you know someone again who is doing wonderful things like Unstoppable Nicole is doing in her community, please feel free to reach out to us. We want to hear. We'd love to interview them. And thank you for joining us today on A Brighter Future Starts Here. Remember to visit us at americanspcc.org, and a brighter future starts right here.